First of all, it's $69, which is far too much money to be spending on what is essentially an Instagram selfie. Hi guys! Welcome back to my channel. This is Rose, and today we're going to be talking about something that might be a little bit contentious. Maybe. In that usually I talk about products that I really love, or I give advice about products, and I really try to triumph brands that I really love. But today, as I say, it's going to be a little bit different. Today we're talking about products that I hate, that I cannot stand, and I will never use. Just a pre-warning, this is not going to be a brand bashing video, just a product bashing video. Just kidding. I'm not going to be bashing anyone. This is just a list of products that I've tried and that just really don't work for my skin type. Before we start the video, I just want to touch on one thing, and that is coronavirus. It has affected everybody and it will continue to affect a lot of people. For me personally, I work in the film industry, and the entire industry worldwide pretty much has shut down, which means I am unemployed, and a lot of my colleagues are unemployed, and a lot of us are facing very dire financial situations. I was in two minds as to whether to post during this time, but this has been such an important creative outlet for me, and to lose this as well as everything else would be really heartbreaking for me. So I hope you don't think that I'm being disingenuous by posting, you know, blasé stuff about skincare throughout this time, but please know that I'm not trying to make light of the situation. I'm not at all. It's just that this is my way of doing something creative with my time, which I have a lot of at the moment. Anyway, that's beside the point. I hope you guys enjoy the video where I talk about things that I hate. That doesn't include coronavirus. Let's get into it. Having said that this is not a brand bashing video, I'm gonna go straight in and start talking about a brand that I really hate, but I have a really good reason why I hate it. This is gonna sound an awful lot like a brand bash, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Really, there are just so many products from Mario Badescu that I just can't stand. I hate them, and I really can't go into detail about them all, but I'm going to give you an example of a couple that I find to be difficult products to like. And also, it's not even that this emotion is hate necessarily, it's more like disappointment. I'm not angry, I'm disappointed. I used to hate it when my parents said that to me. I hate it when companies are shady, and I hate it when companies lie, and that's exactly what Mario Badescu did. They lied. So back in 2013, Mario Badescu went through a trial, a lawsuit, based on claims that actually originated in Korea, that essentially said that they included ingredients in some of their products that weren't listed as ingredients. And by this I'm talking about two particular products, their control cream and their healing cream. Now in these products they put steroids, hydrocortisone and acetone, without labeling them as containing steroids. Now not only is this super illegal, but also putting steroids on skin that doesn't need that can have hugely damaging effects. Now I, for example, do use steroids on my skin on a regular basis because I have really bad eczema, and hydrocortisone, for example, helps combat the effects of eczema. However, I also use other products that help kind of offset the negative effects of using these steroids. I actually did a video on this. If you want to, I'll pop it here somewhere if you want to go and have a look at that at some point. If you have eczema, it's a really good informative video on that. But if you don't need steroids, then basically what they can lead to, putting them on your skin, can lead to enlarged capillaries and inflammation. It can also lead to skin atrophy. Now what skin atrophy is the skin essentially thinning. And obviously this can lead to blisters, rashes, again, inflammation, fungal infections, things like that. Like things that you just you don't want to be dealing with, especially if you're using creams to heal. You don't want that. But also the really big problem with using steroids on skin that doesn't need steroids is when you stop using that particular steroid, then you're in a whole heap of trouble. You really are. And all of that bad stuff is basically called topical steroid withdrawal. And it's just awful. We're talking about rashes, we're talking about inflammation, we're talking about like burning sensations. It's really, really, really not fun and not something that you want to ever really experience. And you know what the worst thing is, and the thing that I get really, really annoyed about, is that they didn't even come out and say, yo, we made a mistake, we didn't list these ingredients and they're actually in there. Which, to be honest with you, I would have had more respect for them if they did. Like, hey, we're going to bring it back, we're going to change the formula, blah, blah, blah. They didn't do that. They were shady weasels and changed the formula on the sly. So all of these loyal people who had been using these creams for sometimes years kept using the creams with the new formula and obviously started feeling these withdrawal symptoms from the steroid that used to be in that particular product. I mean, that's just exceptionally impolite. I mean, really, at worst it's impolite, and at best it's dangerous. Other way around, I said that wrong. At worst it's dangerous, at best it's impolite. That's what I should have said. So that's really my biggest issue with the products. It's not actually, well, it is the products, but it's the fact that the products were poor, but also the company lied. How am I supposed to trust products and use products if I don't trust the brand? A lot of their products are also an issue for me because I have extremely sensitive skin, and a lot of their products contain very high percentages of fragrance and kind of floral, flowery stuff, which is just a hard no for me. Their rose water spray, which is really, 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 really popular. My skin hates it. It gets really angry. It's just not, you know, if you really have sensitive skin, the first thing that you should stay away from are essential oils and fragrance and things like that. So that's another reason why I just hate these products. My skin hates these products. Now, because defamation laws are very real, I'm going to put all of the articles that I read to research this particular video in the description box below, so that you'll be able to do some research for yourself if you're particularly interested in the lawsuits and articles written about that. Okay, so let's move on to the next lot of products that I really, really, really dislike, hate. And that is Piyo Strips. Now, I'm not sure I'm even saying that right. Biore? I don't really know. That's how much I hate this product. I can't even be bothered to learn how to say it properly. But anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Now, I have a very, very intense dislike for these products, and I wish that they would just leave the face of the earth and never come back. They make my skin crawl a little bit. Hate it. And like, especially for people like me with super, super sensitive skin, but I would say kind of anyone, these products can be super, super damaging in the long term. So what they are is they're little strips that you're meant to put on your nose and then pull off, and it's meant to pull all of the gunk out of your pores, blackheads and things like that. The main issue for me with these strips is the huge amount of adhesive that is used in making the product. It basically tears away the entire top layer of skin, hair, oil, healthy skin, everything. Just rips it away. And also probably some bad stuff too, but I don't think that that's a good enough reason to use it. If you got like a bad manicure, you wouldn't then just go and like chop off your hand. No, you'd go and get it fixed like a normal human being. You'd fix that particular issue. You wouldn't like cut off the entire thing. That would make life extremely more difficult than it was before, I would think. Not fun. It's also such a violent thing, like ripping your skin off. Kind of any product that asks me to rip my skin off, I'm gonna be very wary of it. It's gonna be a hard no for me, just in general. Anyone that asks me to rip skin off, no thank you. It's also an extremely short-term solution to what could be an ongoing issue. Blackheads. Ripping them off or ripping out the gunk isn't going to sort out the reason why you had blackheads in the first place. It can solve it for a couple days maybe, but they're going to come back. I would use a product like Innisfree's Volcanic Clay Mask, or CosRx have a Blackhead Power Liquid. These kind of products can get to the root of the issue as to why you're having blackheads, and then you can be blackhead free for the long term. I would suggest that's a much better practice than like sticking something to your face and like ripping off the first layer of skin. But I don't know, that's just me. Now the next product I'm going to talk about is from a company called Glam Glow. It is their glitter mask. Yeah, they have a mask that's glittery. First of all, it's $69, which is far too much money to be spending on what is essentially an Instagram selfie. Second of all, it's packed with glitter, which has absolutely zero medical benefits to skincare. None whatsoever. Now don't get me wrong, I love glitter. I love glitter as much as the next girl. I was a cheerleader in college and I could not get glitter out of my hair for 3 years. I love glitter, but do I want it in my skincare? Absolutely not. So not only does glitter do absolutely nothing to help the efficiency of this mask in terms of skincare, it's also super, super harmful for the environment. So glitter is non-biodegradable. It's essentially little cut up bits of plastic. And so all that does is then live in the ocean and systematically destroy various ecosystems. Great, that's what we love. No, we don't want that. Now, I don't know whether you can buy it in stores anymore. I couldn't find it in any Sephora or anything like that online, but you can still buy it on Amazon, and I would really suggest don't do that, because it really is just an Instagram selfie opportunity. It does nothing for your skin. Glitter is bad for the environment. It's something that you don't need to spend $69 on, in my opinion. Again, I'm not bashing the brand. The brand has lots and lots and lots of other products. It's very, very popular, so they must be doing something right. And I have friends that use a number of their products on a regular basis. I'm not bashing the brand, I'm just saying this particular product of theirs, I would give it a hard miss. The next product I'm going to talk about is from a Korean brand called Dr. Frog, which is a subsidiary brand of Charm Zone, which is a very established cosmetic Korean company. But this particular toner I'm going to talk about, I really hated it. Hated it. It's their Water Full Charge toner. So when I used this toner, my skin just became immediately red and super sensitive and like really, really painful. And bearing in mind, I only used this twice, I think maybe 3 times, to give it a proper college try, to give it a go, to give it the opportunity to do wonders for my skin. But every time I used it, it was just super, super, super painful. I think it might have been the very high percentage of fragrance in the toner. I'm not sure what the issue was, but my skin absolutely just hated it. And I would really suggest that if you have sensitive skin like mine, really, really, really avoid it. Didn't like it. So what I'm going to talk about now is actually a range of products, and that is face brushes. I don't like face brushes at all. Now, I kind of hate this product for 2 reasons. 1, I think it's unnecessary, and 2, it's too rough on my skin. So people use face brushes to cleanse your skin. They like it because you can really feel it working your skin and kind of wiping away all of the dirt. But I'm seriously in doubt about the efficiency of a face brush over a really good double cleanse method. Face brushes aren't really that popular in Korea. Everybody just kind of gets along fine with a good double cleanse. So I don't see why Western countries, I'm being a little bit general here, but I don't see why Western cultures would need the extra tool. As long as you're using a really good oil cleanser, working it all over your face, getting a little bit of water in your hands and kind of emulsifying that oil cleanser, washing that off and following it up with a gel water-based cleanser, then you're fine. You're cleansing properly. Not only is it somewhat redundant in my eyes, but they're also extremely expensive in most cases, and they can damage your skin. Using one every single morning and every single evening can lead to overexfoliation, which is basically when your breaking down your skin barrier, weakening your skin barrier, which can then lead to inflammation and hyperpigmentation and in worst cases rashes and stuff like that. Now obviously not all face brushes are born equal. I'm sure that there are some that people love and use all of the time, but for me they're all too harsh for me, and all of them, regardless of what brand has created them, can cause damage if overused. I just personally don't get along with them, and every single time I've used one it inflames my rosacea and I'm just left with really angry skin, and I don't need that. I've got a really good double cleanse method. That's just me though. So the next product I'm going to talk about are makeup wipes. Now I've spoken a number of times about makeup wipes and how much I hate them, but I will keep talking about how much I hate makeup wipes until I'm hoarse and I resemble somewhat the zombies in Kingdom. I've just been binge watching that. It's a really, really good program. Anyway, you don't want to look like those zombies, but I will look like those zombies. I will scream myself hoarse until people throw them away. You don't need makeup wipes anymore. To begin with, makeup wipes are extremely harsh on your skin. One of the ingredients that nearly all makeup wipes use is alcohol. Now there can be good alcohols to use in skincare, but the ones used in makeup wipes tend to be the types of alcohol that dry your skin out. They also contain preservatives, which are used to maintain the moisture in the wipe without it getting bacteria on it, which then these preservatives just kind of sit on your skin, which doesn't appeal to me particularly. They also, just by the nature of what they are, require some sort of pulling and pushing of your skin, which will lead you to be more susceptible to aging and also inflammation and hyperpigmentation down the road. Your skin is not a kitchen work surface, guys. Come on, treat it with some respect. Also, they're not even that good at taking off makeup, so let's be honest, they're not necessary. We can chuck them out. I hate them, I will always hate them, and I just find myself getting very, very angry unnecessarily so about them, but I will continue to. Anyway, so that rounds up the list of products that I hate and I will never use, and I don't want to use them again in the future, and I don't think that you should use them either. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I'd love to hear if you guys have used any of these products and if they've worked for you, which they probably haven't because they're not good products. But anyway, I hope you guys have a really, really lovely day, even though most of you are probably in isolation. I still hope you're having a wonderful time, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!